What is up, guys? Welcome to another NFL DFS betting DraftKings player props fun week 3 preview. Appreciate you guys joining me. I know a few of you watch playback like Sunday morning or Saturday night before the NFL games, but I like to do it at this time because it gets my mind flowing, ready for the betting week, ready for the DFS week. We have enough information right now to do DFS, to do betting. So I like getting it done on Thursday afternoon because it's kind of like my research with you guys. And if there's any questions, obviously I will always answer them live. Or I know a few people have been DMing me stuff like that. So we will jump into it. Let me just pull some of this ownership, some of this research stuff up real quick for myself before I start talking players. But yeah, let's jump into it. So we have Thursday Night Football. I'll talk a little showdown, I guess, because why not? We have the Pittsburgh Steelers head to the Cleveland Browns. So here's a line, open at 5, now down to 4. I got this early in the afternoon, so that could have changed for sure. Yeah, it's obviously I'm alone today. By the way, another intro note, alone today. So I'm just gonna go through the game by game, give my thoughts, bets, stuff like that. If I think you should stack anyone. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Steelers at the Browns. Yeah, slow game for DFS, but showdown. So I'm gonna talk about it. Who do you want to play in this game? Steelers versus Browns. It's windy, it's rainy, it's gonna be ugly. Total's low for a reason. It's funny that John Watson's the highest quarterback on the slate. Just don't know why they do that. I'm hearing some Kenny Pickett buzz. So I feel like if you're gonna play quarterback, you're gonna have to play quarterback. It's gonna have to be Jacoby Brissett, just because I don't know if Mitch is gonna be that guy, if he's gonna even play all the snaps. So it's gonna be Brissett or nothing for me at quarterback in this game. And then running back, this is where it becomes a dicey game. We saw Chubb go crazy last week, and the week before we saw Kareem Hunt go crazy. So that's kind of a coin flip, in my opinion. I think Chubb is the guy they want. Kareem Hunt kind of got those lucky touches in week 1, but let me look at each of these two guys red zone touches. So let me look real quick in week 1 and 2. So looking at FanShare Sports research tool, if you don't subscribe, why don't you? Because it is an elite tool. So FanShare Sports research tool. Both of these guys get a lot of red zone touches, but Chubb is leading the way in that category. So I think it's Chubb or nothing for the running backs. And then wide receivers, I kind of like these wide receivers just because they have explosive upside and they're not very expensive. Even Deontay Claypool, any of them. So that's my DFS thoughts on this game. Betting wise, I think that the Steelers will cover this game. What I did in this game, what Teasers with T did was tease the Steelers up through 10.5. I think about it while it was 4.5. 10.5, 10 is fine. And we did it with the over 32. I like the number more than anything. 32 points in an NFL game, 17, that's a win. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I think the over and the Steelers is the teaser option for this game. All right, moving on to Sunday. Colts host the Chiefs. Chiefs are 5.5-point road favorites. Is this a rat line? I think it is. Everyone's saying why isn't the Chiefs a hammer at 5.5? I don't think the Colts win this game. I think they cover this game. I will not be betting this, but this is a sneaky line. And when we see sneaky lines, this isn't my first rodeo. If I was a rookie on here, I'd be like, oh my god, Chiefs minus 5.5, hammer, hammer, hammer. And then by all means, they can cover this. But these 3 to 6 point road favorites, if you bet them blindly, you will not win money long term. I just promise you, you won't. So yeah, that's my thoughts for this game. I think the Colts keep it close. I kind of like this over 50.5. Fantasy wise, John Taylor and Travis Kelce are two of the highest priced guys in the entire slate by their position. Actually, they are 1-1, highest running back and highest tight end. But I like these. I like these Chief stack. You can't go wrong with it. Mahomes Kelsey stack. It's popular, but it's not crazy expensive either. I don't know if I love John Taylor at 9K this week, but I think the Colts will keep this close and Chiefs win. All right, Eagles at Commanders. Now this is my upset of the week. I think that the Washington Commanders cover this number and win it outright. Matt, you're crazy. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl last week. Or it's the case. Why would the Commanders win this game outright? Listen. So Monday night, home game, massive crowd, massive energy. Nick Sirianni, let's go Eagles. Awesome. I think the Eagles are awesome this year too. Awesome. Short week on the road, divisional opponent, Washington. Carson Wentz revenge game. Commanders win this game outright. I think all the Eagles have a little bit of a lackluster performance, so I'm going to stay away. And Wentz has been amazing fantasy-wise the past first 2 weeks. I think Wentz with Logan Thomas, Wentz with any of these receivers is a viable option. I wouldn't want to give you a receiver because they're so like any of the 1-2, McLaurin, Samuel, Dotson can all perp. So I like the Wentz Thomas thing, but Wentz for sure, Wentz Gibson. I like these Redskins players, whatever. Sue me for saying Redskins. I like these Redskins receivers, but I think the Redskins will win this game outright. I teased them up through 10. I'm going to get to the 6.5. Probably will sprinkle some money line as well. Bills head to the Dolphins. This line open at 4, and then as soon as Monday came around, the Bills went crazy. This line shot right up. So let me pull up the DraftKings slate for this Bills Dolphins game. It's going to be a good game. I like this game for DraftKings, but it's going to be popular. There's going to be a lot of points. We saw what this Miami offense was capable of doing in the first 2 weeks, and we saw them what they were capable of doing in a quarter last week. I think they were down like 35-14 in the fourth quarter, and they won the game. Scored very fast. Yeah, what am I going to say bad about Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs? If you've been playing them the first 2 weeks, you're probably winning money. So Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, we're kind of getting a little bit of a price break on Gabe Davis, who is going to be playing this week. He's going to be back. And Isaiah McKenzie was popular last week to fill that role in, but he didn't really do it. It was just all Diggs, as we saw. So are the Dolphins going to maybe bracket Stephon Diggs? For sure. For sure, and as they should. So I think it's a big week for Gabe Davis, possibly big week for Dawson Knox at 4-1. That's a great price for Dawson Knox. So I think it's another big week for the Bills offense. And chase it with Tua. Tua's been awesome. Tua went crazy, 47 fantasy points last week. Another great play. No side in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills went close, if the Dolphins get it done. Yeah, it's not a crazy take. They're a road divisional opponent. So yeah, I probably will be staying away from this game betting wise. All right. This is a game I probably will be betting. Bengals 6-point favorites on the road. In Jets at the Jets in New Jersey, sorry. And what have the Bengals done the first 2 weeks? They've disappointed, but they played the Steelers and the Cowboys. And not by no means are the Steelers and Cowboys world beaters. But one thing that the Steelers and Cowboys do have are TJ Watt and Micah Parsons, arguably the two best defensive linemen in the NFL. And what do they do to the Cincinnati offensive line? Tore it apart. So my take when Jamar Chase was drafted was Jamar Chase was a horrible pick. They should have taken Sewell from Oregon. Was I wrong? Yeah, hand up wrong. I was wrong. But the offensive line was a mess. And did they do enough to fix it this year? How much did they do enough to fix it this year? No, they did not. They tried, but they didn't do enough. At least against the elites. Now they're playing a Jets defensive front who is nowhere near as scary as those two other defensive fronts. I think this is the game where the Bengals and Joe Burrow and all of his weapons get going. I love the mix-in Burrow, Chase, all Bengals stack. I love them. I love the Bengals and teasers. I love the Bengals. -6. I think the Bengals will whoop the Jets in New Jersey. I think the Bengals will hit their team total. It's not going to be anything crazy. Look at this total is 45. Let me check the weather right now because that's a sneaky low total. Weather East Rutherford and Jay. For Sunday, no, clear sky 74. Burrow's going to have a field day. They're going to hit their team total. They're going to cover the 6. They're going to win the game outright, and they're going to make you a lot of money in daily fantasy. All right, next game. Lions at host the Vikings off of their Monday night embarrassment. Yeah, primetime Kirk. I got fooled. I thought primetime Kirk grew up a little bit, but clearly he did not. Now, where is this game on DraftKings? Detroit man, there we go. Jettis 9-3 as he should be. What did we see from Kirk Cousins last week? A whole bunch of bad. Just throwing the ball up. I mean, Darius Slay had a field day, but I was so high on Irv Smith last week at what was he like 3 something? Irv Smith last week, hammer him, scored the first touchdown for the Vikings. I think it was the first touchdown, and he dropped another touchdown. Irv Smith dropped a touchdown. Now let's see where he's priced. Irv Smith is 3-1. That is a great price for Irv Smith in a revenge spot against the Lions secondary who's going to be focused on Justin Jefferson. I like Irv Smith again, and I like Irv Smith going forward. So I think the Vikings bounce back, get it done against the spicy Lions team. I think they win this game outright. I think I moneyline parlay them with the Jets. Let's move on. Ravens head to the Patriots off of that embarrassing loss at home against the Dolphins. So what are we thinking happens here? I'm thinking Lamar Jackson and the Ravens come out hot. I think because they blew that game. They had it in the fourth quarter. They took their foot off the gas pedal and they blew it. What I did here, betting wise, was I took the Ravens first half -1.5. I think they come out strong. Patriots are off of a win. They know. I mean, it's not like a Belichick team to come out slow, but they're just so much better than them. Like they are. The Ravens are just so much better than this Patriots team. More talent. They're much faster. I think they're just a much better team as a whole. I think they come out super fast. Ravens first half -1.5 is where I went betting wise, and then DFS wise, we haven't seen the Andrews blow up game yet. Are we going to see it against this Patriots defense who has a thing for stopping the one team's best player? Is that Mark Andrews? It might be, but I wrote up Rashad Bateman last week and he had another bomb touchdown. So are they going to focus on Rashad Bateman or are they going to focus on Mark Andrews? I'm going to say they're going to go with Bateman. So I like the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack. Maybe get a little rush touchdown from Lamar, 2 pass touchdowns from Mark Andrews. I wouldn't chase it with any Patriots. I think the Ravens are going to lock them down. So I like the Lamar Andrews stack this week rather than Lamar Bateman. We will move on and to the Raiders, 1.5-point road favorites in Tennessee. Yeah, this is a weird game. This is a game I'm going to be staying away from all around. I can see this game being a vintage AFC South game. I know this isn't the Raiders aren't an AFC South team. AFC South by like they're hosting it, meaning the score is like 19-15. Like, how did the score end up 19-15? Oh, it's an AFC South game. It just happens. But also, I can see this game going way over the total with this firepower on the Raiders side. Staying away. Raiders are -1.5. That's a rat line for a road favorite. I don't ever want to count a Mike Vrabel led team out. They've shown it in the past. When they look horrible, they win as 10-point underdogs. I know they're not 10-point underdogs, but embarrassing performance. Staying away completely, not playing this game in DFS at all. Okay, we'll move on to the next game. Saints -2.5 at the Panthers. Another weird game that I don't love at all. I do think the Saints cover this game. I do think the Saints win on the road because we've seen the Panthers I'm a Panthers fan, and Baker and CMC are they're playing, and the offense still looks like horrible. I thought it was just Sam Darnold, and it's just Matt Rule. That's what it is. And I love Matt Rule coming out of Baylor. I was like, oh, he's going to be awesome for the Panthers. Matt Rule, Joe Brady. We got an offense. We don't got an offense. Now Joe Brady's doing it like he was doing at LSU with the Bills offense. Maybe it's the Panthers. I know. I'll never win as whatever. I have the Mets, though. Let's go Mets. I hope I didn't jinx them. So, yeah. I don't love any Panthers. I know 8-8 is cheap for Christian McCaffrey. We know what his ceiling is, but we haven't seen him do it with Baker yet. And is Baker taking a little bit of shine off Christian McCaffrey? Quite possibly. He's taking a little bit more of those reads. It's just ugly with the Panthers right now. I think the Saints cover this game. You want to play Jameis at what? 5-2? a guy who can air it out and take a bunch of shots like he did last week late, and they were picks. Sometimes they fall the other direction. Sometimes that's why Jameis has those crazy DFS performances sometimes because he's not scared to take their shots, and sometimes they work. So this could be a situation where that does work. I do think the Saints win this game. I never want to lay 2.5 point road favorite in division, no matter how good or bad the teams are, is always nervy. Kind of steers me off of that. But I do think the Saints will cover this number. All right, we have 7-8 games left. Flying through this. Texans head to Chicago. Bears are 3-point favorites. Is anyone gonna watch? Like, is this game gonna be on red zone? What's the final score gonna be? 15-12. Like, look. Justin Fields, the Sunday Night Football, went 7 for 9 passing. 7 for 9. They are running a literal high school offense. 7 for 9. This is the 2022 NFL. You cannot throw the ball 9 times. You're playing Aaron Rodgers too. 7 for 9. Like, what are you going to trust from the Bears standpoint? And look, they're priced this way for a reason. The highest priced guy in this game is 5-9. Do I believe in Davis Mills? Yeah. Do I want to play him against Chicago and a team who's just going to play slow, dictate the pace? Not really. Do I want to bet on the Bears, 3-point underdogs? 3-point favorites? Do I want to bet at the Texans, 3-point underdogs? No. This game is another stay away. So, recapping, if you've just joined the games I love DFS-wise. I love the Bengals offense. I love the Ravens offense. And I love the Bills and Dolphins game. But, so you just watch this back. You'll get some of the exact players. But this is another stay away game. 40-point total. Texans Bears going to probably see one click on the red zone. There'll probably be 2 touchdowns the entire game. Major stay away. Yeah, the guys are priced this low for a reason. You're going to find a gem. Maybe we're going to get it this week because the touches have week 1 worried everyone. Where Dameon Pierce, oh God, it's going to be Rex Burkhead after everyone drafted him high in fantasy. They turned and they will turn and they'll continue to turn. Stud. I love Dameon Pierce, Florida boy. So we'll move on to Jaguars at Chargers, and this is a game where I love, and I'm. What am I going to do? Repeat myself every week? I might. So the Jaguars are one of my favorite over teams of the season. Combine that with this high-powered Chargers offense, there's going to be points this game, and there's going to be fantasy points this game. We're not seeing it from Eckler, and is it going to be a trend that continues? Maybe. So Herbert, Mike Williams. Herbert, I don't know if Keenan's playing. I like Herbert, Mike Williams. I feel like that's more safe. Herbert Williams. Chase that with any Jaguars you want. We saw Zay Jones week 1. We saw a little bit more Marvin Jones week 2, target wise. So I love the Herbert, Mike Williams, and then chase that with T-Law, ETN, T-Law Jones, other Jones. I love chasing them with Jaguars because they can score fast. They're not the 0-16, 1-15 Jaguars. Like, maybe they'll turn out that way, but they can score, and their defense is nothing. I think the Chargers will go crazy this game. A little bounce back, 10-day break from that Thursday night loss to the Chiefs. So Chargers come out hot. Chargers, I kind of like Chargers first half spread / team total, which I'll give another look to Sunday. But Chargers chase it with Jaguars because they are a viable option. Like this game for sure. All right, Packers is probably the game of the week. Packers off of their Sunday night shellacking of the Bears as they normally do. Head to Tampa Bay. I saw this line all the way to 2.5, now down to 1. Yeah, gonna be a fun game. And I think people are saying, okay, the Packers are doing exactly what they did last year. Packers lost to the Saints in week 1 last year, looked horrible. And Packers looked horrible in week 1 this year. Came out week 2, made it happen. Is that the same story? No, I don't think it's the same story. One thing the Packers have going for them is they have a legit secondary, and the Bucs have a legit receiver problem. So, what does that mean? That means Fournette's due for a game. Fournette at 6'5", I think, is a play. Questionable, I think he's going to be full go. I think Fournette is a play. You want to go back to Aaron Jones? I don't know if you do. He had an awesome week last time, but Dylan is just as viable. He's not as fast. He's just as viable to score the touchdown when we get down to the red zone. It's going to be a good game. I kind of sneakily like the under here. under 42. I don't know if I ever want to play a Brady Rogers under, but that's where I would lean. I don't know if I'm going to be betting a side because that Packers secondary is actually really good. If Julio Jones is playing, he's not confirmed yet. He's questionable, but he should be good to go. If Julio Jones plays, I might get to the Bucks -1, Bucks money line, just to take some pressure off of Brady in the running game because the Packers have a legit secondary. I said it again, legit. So I like Leonard Fournette as a hammer play this week. Um, and AJ Dillon. I think AJ Dillon is due for another game too. All right, we have 4 games left. We'll move on to the Rams -3.5. Head to Arizona. I think the Rams win on the game-winning field goal here, and the Arizona Cardinals cover betting wise. What are we gonna get? Fantasy totals 48.5. Both of these teams are Jekyll and Hyde. Like sometimes the offense shows up lightning, sometimes they show up not. And it's weird. We saw the Cardinals come back late last week and get it done versus the Raiders. Went on a fluky, what's his name, Hunter Renfrow fumble. Offense looked okay. Cooper Kupp 9-9, yeah, like Cooper Kupp, he's gonna get off target. It's gonna be open, but like it's gonna be popular. Like I don't really know what I like here because I like if you watch the whole show, I was way more firm on my Chargers. I was way more firm on my Ravens. I was way more firm on my Bengals. Way more firm on my Vikings. Rams have a legit good offense. So do the Cardinals. Firepower for sure. But I'm not as confident as DFS hammers, and I'm not as confident in the Rams covering the spread. I think the Rams win this game in a close one. Cardinals cover the 3.5. All right, we'll move on to the Falcons Seahawks. Another ugly one. Like with this game. Um, so we saw the Seahawks kind of take a step back in week 2 after they played their Super Bowl in week 1 against Russ. I think I said in my season previews, both of these teams are going to be 2 of the worst teams in the league. So now that they're playing, I think that the Seahawks are a fair 1-point favorite. Does that give them? I mean, I don't know who's going to win this game. I don't know. I guess the Seahawks win by. I don't know. This game is horrible. Um, but we haven't seen Cordell Patterson do what he's been capable of, and I think he is a team where he can have one of those 35-point games against in Seattle, who has a hurting and a lacking defense, lost 2 of their best players in Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner. All season now Jamal Adams is gone. So are we in for a Cordell Patterson coming out party as we saw last year? Maybe. Are we in for Drake London? Hi, I was the first receiver drafted. Maybe. That has a lot to do with Marcus Mariota. So I think if there's a play, it's Cordell Patterson here, but it's not a confident play. I think you're going to get a good ownership on Cordell Patterson though, because as opposed to what we saw the second half of the season last year, I think Cordell Patterson is a very viable option. Do I want to chase it with DK? Do I want to chase it with any Seahawks? Probably not. I can see this game being one-sided in either way, but I think Cordell Patterson is the guy to go with one here. All right, Sunday Night Football. 49ers at Broncos. This is a fun game. Jimmy G gets the first start of his season after Trey Lance is out. What's good with Kittle? If Kittle's ready to go, I kind of like the Garoppolo Kittle. We're back stack. But I also like the Broncos. Hey, we have an offense finally, and we can score when we get inside the 5. So with that being said, I like this over. I'm going to tease my partner at jerseyBetting.com teases every primetime game. Admittedly, have started slow at the team we have, but we went crazy last year, and I expect us to it's a long season. Don't chase ever start slow. 1 unit all plays. I think we're going to end up on the right side of things. So we're definitely going to tease this over. I think this total is going to go over for sure. So we'll get like over 39 with the probably Broncos plus 7.5. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Broncos win this game outright, actually, at home. Finally, just like I know the coaching is a bit of an issue, but finally get some of the kinks out and make it happen against the 49ers, who are a better defense, but his offense in Denver has some serious firepower. So I like DraftKings wise. I don't mind any Broncos, and then the Kittle Garoppolo stack. We're back for the over. All right, Sunday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants. Monday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants. Total 39. Giants, 1-point favorite. It's opened up at 3. Now it's bet down to 1. I'm happy. I think the Giants win this game. So I don't want to lay 3, but I can get behind 1. Are we losing to Cooper Rush, Giants fans? I don't think so. And I could just already feel, oh my God, the Giants are 3-0. The Giants are 3-0. They've played some suspect teams. The Panthers were 3-1 last year, and look how they finished. I can see the Giants being 3-0. It doesn't mean anything. That means they had an easy schedule off at the beginning of the season. So I think, but this Cowboys secondary, I mean, the Cowboys front, I mean, Micah Parsons is a problem. And the Giants' O-line is better than what we saw last week from the Bengals, but still doesn't make me real happy about playing Saquon, real happy about me playing any Giants receivers. But I think the Giants win this game, and the total stays under 39 in the ugly NFC showdown. I have to give you someone. I mean, we're gonna have to play showdown in this game, so I think you got a captain. Like you just got to do CD, and then just chase it with a few with like just all the running backs. Play CD, Pollard, Elliott, and then from there, not CD, Captain Saquon, and then play Pollard, Elliott. Play the running backs, and then from there sprinkle in your other pieces. But I think that's the way you want to go. I think you want all these running backs. If that's the point if you're playing showdown. But that's all the games. That was about 30 minutes. Went game by game, gave you my betting picks, DFS picks. Thank you for joining me. I'll have a guest on next week. Actually, next week's show is going to be recorded. It won't be live. But I think it will have a guest on for that show. So I will catch you guys next week. You know where to find me. I appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night and get ready for TNF. Catch you guys soon.